The fog arrives before dawn. It rolls up from the Thames in great shifting walls, swallowing gaslight and cobblestone. This is the city before it knew what it would become. Before the electric hum, before the concrete towers. This is London when it still burned coal and moved by horse, when the river was the color of industry and the air tasted of smoke and rain. We stand on the Thames in 1830, and the water beneath us carries everything: barges loaded with coal from Newcastle, ships bringing tea from China, timber from the Baltic, wool from Australia. The river is crowded, impossibly crowded, a forest of masts stretching from London Bridge to the distant docks. Men shout across the water in a dozen languages. The smell is overwhelming: tar and fish, sewage and salt, the accumulated weight of an empire flowing through a single channel. The bridges are new. Waterloo, only 15 years old, still feels like a marvel. Southwark Bridge, cast in iron, gleaming even in the dirty light. Below us, watermen row against the current, their boats small and quick between the larger vessels. Children dive for coins thrown from above, disappearing into the murk and surfacing with coppers clutched in their fists. The Thames is both highway and workplace, sewer and lifeline. Along the embankments, the city presses close. Warehouses rise in brick and timber, their windows dark, their walls stained with decades of smoke. This is a city building itself in real time, tearing down the old to make room for the relentless new. Cranes swing over construction sites. Scaffolding clings to half-finished buildings. The sound is constant hammering, sawing, the rumble of cartwheels on stone, the sharp crack of a whip urging horses forward through streets that were never designed for this much traffic, this much weight, this much ambition. We walk into the heart of the city. The streets here are narrow, medieval, twisting back on themselves. Overhead, buildings lean toward each other, their upper floors almost touching, blocking out the sky. The pavement is slick with mud, and worse. Horses everywhere, pulling carriages, hauling wagons, standing patient while their drivers drink or argue over fares. The smell of them mingles with coal smoke, with the yeasty warmth of bakeries, with the sour temps of unwashed bodies. This is a city of contrasts, so sharp they cut. Turn one corner and you find elegant Georgian townhouses, their facades painted white, their windows tall and clean. Turn another and you plunge into a rookery, a slum so dense that sunlight never reaches the ground. Families live 10 to a room. Disease spreads in the darkness: cholera, typhus, tuberculosis. The wealthy pass through these neighborhoods in closed carriages, their curtains drawn, their faces turned away. The factories are rising. Along the riverbanks, in the eastern districts, great brick structures grow like organisms, spreading their smoke across the sky. Inside, the noise is deafening: the clank of machinery, the hiss of steam, the rhythmic pounding of pistons and gears. Men and women work 14-hour days, their hands blackened, their lungs slowly filling with dust. Children as young as 5, 10 machines, their small fingers nimble in places adult hands cannot reach. This is the price of progress, paid in bodies and hours, in shortened lives and broken health. But there is wonder here too. The railways are coming. The first lines snake into London from the north and south, their locomotives breathing fire and steam, pulling carriages at speeds that seem impossible, that make passengers clutch their seats and pray. Euston Station opens, then Paddington, then King's Cross. The city is suddenly connected to the world in ways it never was before. You can board a train in the morning and be in Birmingham by afternoon, in Manchester by evening. Time itself is changing, collapsing, speeding up. Charles Dickens walks these streets, notebook in hand, eyes sharp, missing nothing. He sees the mudlarks searching the Thames shore at low tide for anything they can sell. He sees the pickpockets working the crowds in Covent Garden, their fingers light and quick. He sees the crossing sweepers, boys and girls with worn brooms, clearing paths through the horse dung for a penny from well-dressed pedestrians. He sees the whole machine of the city, the way poverty and wealth grind against each other, producing friction and heat, and he writes it down. he makes it permanent. The Crystal Palace rises in Hyde Park for the Great Exhibition of 1851, a cathedral of glass and iron. Inside, the world displays itself, machines and inventions, art and industry, from every corner of Victoria's empire. 6 million people pass through its doors in 6 months. They stand beneath the vaulted glass ceiling and understand that they are living through something unprecedented. The age of steam, the age of iron. But London is still a place of fire. In 1861, a warehouse near London Bridge ignites, and the flames spread faster than anyone can imagine. Tooley Street burns for 2 weeks. The fire is so hot it melts lead. Firefighters pump water from the Thames until they collapse. When it finally burns itself out, entire blocks are gone. The city rebuilds. It always rebuilds. The Underground opens in 1863, the first of its kind anywhere in the world. Metropolitan Railway, running from Paddington to Farringdon beneath the surface. The trains are pulled by steam locomotives, and the tunnels fill with smoke so thick that passengers emerge, coughing, their faces black, but it works. It moves people. Within a year, 30,000 passengers a day are descending into the earth. We watch Joseph Bazalgette labor over his plans for the new sewer system, the engineering marvel that will save the city from itself. For decades, London has poured its waste directly into the Thames, and the river has become an open sewer, especially in summer when the heat brings out the smell, when the windows of Parliament have to be draped with sheets soaked in chlorine just to make the building inhabitable. The Great Stink of 1858 finally forces action. Bazalgette designs a system of tunnels and pumping stations, 82 miles of brick-lined sewers running beneath the streets, intercepting the filth before it reaches the river, carrying it east to be discharged beyond the city limits. Construction takes nearly 20 years. When it is finished, cholera almost disappears from London. The invisible infrastructure saves more lives than any doctor, any hospital. In the East End, the docks expand endlessly. St. Catherine Docks, London Docks, Surrey Docks, Millwall, the Royal Victoria. Ships from every nation unload their cargoes here: spices and silk, cotton and coffee, ivory and sugar. The dock workers gather each morning for the call-on, hoping to be chosen for a day's labor, knowing that most will be sent away empty-handed. The work is brutal and uncertain. Families live and die in the shadow of the warehouses, in streets where the sun is a stranger and the Thames Fog lingers all day. Further west, the wealthy build their monuments. The new Houses of Parliament rise on the river, Gothic and golden, replacing what the fire of 1834 destroyed. Big Ben's tower climbs higher, its clock face vast, its bells soon to mark the hours for the entire city. The embankment is built, pushing the Thames back, creating new land, new roads, new parks. Gas lamps line the streets, turning night into something navigable, something less terrifying than it was. The city is learning to control its environment, to bend nature to its will. We walk through the 1860s now, and the transformation is visible everywhere. Omnibuses, pulled by horses, carry passengers along fixed routes for fixed fares. The first department stores open Whiteley's, Harrods temples, to consumption, where the middle classes can spend their growing wealth. Photography studios multiply, capturing faces and scenes that would otherwise vanish into time. The city is documenting itself, creating a record, understanding perhaps that what is happening here, now, will matter to people not yet born. And then the 1870s arrive, and London is no longer the city it was. Telegraph wires crossed the streets overhead. The telephone is just years away. Electric light is coming. The population has doubled, then doubled again, pushing past 4 million, making London the largest city the world has ever seen. The railways have turned the metropolis into a sprawling web of suburbs: Islington, Camberwell, Lambeth, Hackney places where clerks and shopkeepers can afford a house with a small garden, a place to raise children away from the worst of the smoke and noise. Yet the contradictions remain. In the wealthy squares of Belgravia and Mayfair, life continues in the old patterns of Provence. Afternoon calls, dinner parties that last until midnight. In the slums of Whitechapel and Bethnal Green, desperation grows deeper. The gap between rich and poor is a chasm that no amount of progress seems able to bridge. Reformers write pamphlets, give speeches, demand change. Some things improve slowly, others do not improve at all. We stand now, in the late 1870s, looking at a city that is recognizable to modern eyes in ways that 1830 London was not. The shape of the future is visible in the steel and glass, in the railway timetables, in the organized rhythm of commerce and industry. But something has been lost too, something that can never be recovered: the slower pace, the clearer air, the quieter streets. London has traded its past for a future it cannot yet imagine, and there is no going back. The city moves only forward, building and destroying, rising and falling, endless in its appetite for transformation. The fog still comes each morning, but now it carries the taste of a different age. The beginning of the modern world, rising from the Thames like a promise and a warning both.